you bagged one of the biggest interviews you've had so far, which was with Eric Trump. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was wild. It was a lot of fun. Very, very exciting and nerve-wracking. The thing that was kind of unique about this interview was not the interview itself. I've had lots of interviews with people that have made me plenty nervous and excited, but the kind of three-ring circus that surrounded the interview was something I've never really experienced firsthand. And it's a cliche. You see it in movies and you hear about it, but it was totally like all these onlookers and spectators vying to try to get an audience with this man, pushing, kind of like.
Literally pushing.
But there's also I did get the impression that he actually thought kind of some of the ethos of crypto was compelling, and he made that point in answering one of my questions. Some of the things that him and his family have gone through at the hands of entrenched bureaucrats and other kind of unelected officials and stuff would kind of move you towards uncensorable money and stuff like that,
Welcome back to Bitcoin.com's Token Narratives, where we discuss the biggest stories shaping the Bitcoin and cryptoverse. I'm Graham Stone, repping the hype function at Bitcoin.com. I'm joined by news and research gigabrain, Mr. David Sensel. The other member of our trio, Bitcoin.com CEO Corbin Fraser, is unable to join this week due to travel. David's calling in from an undisclosed location in the heart of the American South.
Georgia.
I am in the Georgia. It's been disclosed. I'm in the Bitcoin.com office in Tokyo. And let's start off with markets gut check. So, David, you added something here to the doc for this week, which says, does anyone remember that the week started with $1.5 billion in liquidations? That seems like an eternity ago. We bounced. What's your gut telling you? How's the vibes? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking. I mean, it was a good bounce, but I would just be concerned if we retest again. And if we do retest again and we bounce from that retest, I would be very bullish, I think. But it's conceivable that we could break down a little bit into the end of the year. You know what I'm talking about? So really, I mean, overall, long term, midterm, bullish, blah 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 blah. But in the short term, I think it's not bad to be patient and see what happens. So I still have my bags. I haven't done anything with them. I haven't really added much either. So I think right now is kind of no man's land. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, well, on that note, a respected threador on X who goes by the name Wolf, and his X handle is I am Crypto Wolf. He posted some technical analysis, which he's saying, my analysis is flashing a warning. Correction is still underway and a dip could be incoming. So he's got a $88,000 as on the low, but that's where he's projecting the dip to go.
88. Hold on. Let's have a look.
Before we bounce.
Yeah, so basically it would retest the bottom of the range, right? It would retest what was it? December 5th. That's basically what he's saying. And then bounce from there. I mean, that seems well within the realm of possibilities, right?
Yeah,
And so, yeah, I wouldn't put it past it. Uh,
exactly. Now, if that were to happen, that's where I'd be putting on my longs towards the
on what?
bottom of the of Bitcoin, or just basically, well, or anything that's beta to Bitcoin. Uh, so
So the question
yeah,
is,
if we drop to 88K on Bitcoin, in all likelihood, alts are just going to get demolished, destroyed. So that's your buying opportunity
yeah.
for
And so
alts, or yeah,
the
or you
question
long
is,
Bitcoin.
yeah, do you? Because I am of the opinion that the ETH BTC is low as in, um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh,
if
so ETH
BT,
is going to be the fastest horse coming out of that, you think?
well, I don't know if it's probably not going to be the fastest horse, but it seems like the one that is the safest, right? It's got
Yeah,
beta to BTC, and I think it could come out well. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I would do um, in that
yeah,
situation. ETH has hurt me so much.
yeah. Well, the looking at digging in a bit deeper to ETH, we've got the total Ethereum spot ETF net inflows
Good
doing
Lord,
very well.
that looks amazing.
Yeah, just looking in a little bit detail here. A few days ago, we had one day of $430 million net inflow on the ETH ETFs. By comparison, um some of the bigger days on Bitcoin recently, yeah, it's in the same range, like 300, 700 million for net inflows on Bitcoin. So despite ETH being a fraction of the market cap of Bitcoin, obviously we're getting comparable net inflows on the ETH ETF. So things are ramping up there, which would seem to bode well. Who's that in your background, David?
My fucking Asian maid, unbelievable.
Okay. I see.
Ugh,
Is that
ridiculous.
a Mr. Sensel,
Unbelievable.
the
The hell
patriarch?
is wrong with these Asians? I swear to
Let's
God.
get him on the pod.
Unreal.
All right, good stuff.
These people don't know what don't come in and, you know, ruin the podcast means. All right.
It's a pod. It's a pod.
I mean, yeah, we talked about this before. I'm of the opinion that the ETH ETF inflows will only get bigger in the new year as as these institutions and funds will have new allocations that they can deploy, and so they'll probably do like whatever 70-30 or 80-20 Bitcoin to ETH,
Yeah,
whereas before it was just 100 to Bitcoin and nothing to ETH for the
yeah,
entire year. So
yeah. I
um,
mean, with the only crypto ETFs being Bitcoin and Ethereum, and people already having allocated to Bitcoin, it would seem logical that they're going to start allocating more to ETH. However, I've heard some interesting takes on this recently, which is the narrative actually still there for TradFi to invest in ETH? People have talked about their like ETH being an internet bond, and someone I respect, I can't remember his name. His take was like, That's a ridiculous take because it's TradFi is not going to look at ETH and be like, oh, I can get 3% yield on this extremely volatile asset. That's just it doesn't make any sense in the eyes of TradFi. So that's one narrative that doesn't really make sense for ETH. Other narratives may make more sense. Are yeah, the world computer, but then it's not like these TradFi people don't know about the other blockchains that do it better than ETH. So it could be, it might not actually, it might not continue to catch ETF inflows.
uh, well, I think though that you're I think maybe over overestimating how it works. I don't think that they're gonna wait for the possibility of, like, I've read people on crypto Twitter talking about how Solana ETFs are just around the corner, and so this is gonna.
They're going to wait for that.
Yeah, and I just don't buy that. I don't buy that for a second. I don't think that this is how the types of investors that are going to be deploying large amounts of capital into ETFs are really looking at it. They're looking at it like, we want exposure to crypto, and we can get exposure via Bitcoin and ETH. And
Yeah.
the 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 ETH exposure is a different kind of vector of crypto, right? It's definitely not the Bitcoin thing, even though,
It's not the commodity.
yeah, even though perhaps ETH is competing for that. I don't think really anyone really seriously considers that at this point. So I don't know. Smart crypto investors, nimble funds that are in crypto, yeah, they do this, but they're already deployed. They're already in
Yeah.
just like native
So
liquid
my take is the
spot.
mid-curve take. Uh, that makes sense.
But who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows? I am very curious to see. I think it'll be reasonably clear by February 1st whether what I'm saying is in any kind of, like, is directionally true. So we don't have that long to wait.
All right. Let's switch gears to a wrap up of the Bitcoin MENA conference, which both of us were in attendance at, as well as quite a few other people from the Bitcoin.com crew. I, for one, thoroughly enjoyed the conference. I know you did too. You bagged one of the biggest interviews you've had so far, which was with Eric Trump. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was wild. It was a lot of fun. Very, very exciting and nerve-wracking. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the whole process. And the thing that was kind of unique about this interview was not the interview itself. I've had lots of interviews with people that have made me plenty nervous and excited, but the kind of three-ring circus that surrounded the the interview was something I've never really experienced firsthand. And it's a cliche. You see it in movies and you hear about it, but it was totally like all these onlookers and spectators vying to try to get an audience with this man, pushing, uh, kind of like
Literally pushing.
pushing, yeah, literally pushing, shouting, trying to like weasel their way in, offering gifts like a Rolex or like an expensive watch. Not even kidding. Not even kidding.
Wow.
It was bizarre. And then just so you have the people who are actually taking action and kind of making fools of themselves, I would say. And then you just have an even larger amount of people just kind of pushing forward to craning to look, right? Creating this kind of just um, background pressure of focus and actual physical pushing towards the place of where it was. And then meanwhile, on the other side, you have all the security, both the local Abu Dhabi security and what I presume is his personal security, kind of just like um, doing their best Secret Service impressions. Like, move, stay back, don't come here, sir, please, I'm asking you, move away. And so, yeah, it was like
Yeah.
that for
Sounds
about.
like a lot of fun.
It was like that for like an hour and a half or
Yeah.
or so while I was waiting to get in. And also,
Okay. So, oh, yeah, go ahead.
just one more thing, like, so I was scheduled to be the second person to interview him. Um, but of course, with all the vying and all the pressure, uh, we got pushed back to, was it fourth? So there's five total. We got pushed back to fourth or fifth, and it was just interesting how that, I don't even know why that happened. There was all this stuff happening around me that I guess was affecting the order. I don't know
Mhm.
what it was, but I mean, it was just very, very interesting because at one point I thought, oh, our slot has been we've missed our slot by like 40 minutes at this
Yeah.
point. I'm like, oh, I guess we're not going to get it, because we've just been pushed out of the way. But I mean, it eventually did happen, so
Yeah.
very
So
interesting.
there was a lot of hullabaloo around, as you say, through the three ring circus to actually get to the interview. In terms of the interview itself, let's talk about that. But first, Eric Trump spoke at Bitcoin MENA. He was on the main stage. I think some clips were circulating. The main takeaway that I got from the speech was that he was saying Bitcoin is a better version, a better investment than investing in property. That was, and he, as a property investor, him and his family, they know what that market is like, and they're just looking at Bitcoin. It's a better, more liquid, easier way to store value over long term compared to property.
It's a ringing
Would
endorsement.
you ringing endorsement? He also made some interesting comments saying that yeah, it's more accessible to anyone around the world. You can get in on this. You don't have to be resident or have the ability to purchase property in a country like the U.S. You can just get a little bit of Bitcoin and participate in the game. In terms
Yeah.
of your interview with Eric Trump, what's your impressions from that?
Um, yeah, I mean, I definitely got the impression that he he is uh, I think he has legitimate um, what's it called? He legitimately supports Bitcoin and crypto, right? Like kind of going into it and you read in all the news and stuff. Is this just like is he more of like a speculator, right? Just kind of profiting off of this uh, wave of interest and being early.
Yeah,
Um, and I mean, of course there is that. I mean, I'll fully admit that a lot of my interest in crypto is bound up in that. But there's also I did get the impression that he actually thought kind of some of the ethos of crypto was compelling. And he made that point in answering one of my questions. Uh, and you and I talked about that um, afterwards. And again, it's not that I take him 100% at his word, but you do hear this, and it does sound like some of the things that him and his family have gone through at the hands of, entrenched bureaucrats and other kind of unelected officials and stuff would kind of move you towards uncensorable money and stuff like that.
yeah. Beyond that, I believe you asked him about World Liberty Financial, the Trump family project, and it was quite interesting that he seemed to know what he was talking about. Like he had a MetaMask, he was like looping money.
Yeah, yeah. So I probably the most kind of interesting or clippable moment of the interview is I interrupted him and I pointed at him and looked at the camera and called him a degen. So I thought, yeah, afterwards I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, he was, if you will, he was in the trenches to some extent, having
Yeah,
a MetaMask and getting sent USDC and then putting that into Aave and then looping it on Aave to
yeah,
lever up, increase his yield. So, dude, honestly, I don't know how many people in crypto have done even that, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's really isn't that common. Even people who are on crypto Twitter, I would I would honestly guess like at least 50 or 60% haven't done even something like that.
yeah. I
So,
mean, I'm going to admit right now, I know what it is, but I've never done it. I've
yeah,
never
I
levered
have
up
done it. Yeah,
in that way.
yeah.
So you are a true bona fide degen.
Yeah. And honestly, if he did that and he's
Yeah,
not
respect.
exaggerating or yeah, awesome. really, really cool.
Yeah. So you also interviewed Justin Sun, and I see you've got a note here in our doc saying that he's a Bitcoiner and quote nowhere to go. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I guess the thing that this is maybe a theme I should kind of write about, but uh, a lot of the people I talk to who are not kind of associated with Bitcoin strongly, or actually maybe even rejected by most of the Bitcoin Bitcoiners in the space, they seem to be pretty strong Bitcoin advocates. And Justin Sun was this. In the interview, I was struck by how much he loves Bitcoin, how he was an avid Bitcoin supporter, still is, keeps a lot of it, wants it to do well, and he gets kind of maligned as being this, figure for centralization and this, that, and the
A
other.
shitcoiner.
Shitcoiner, yeah, all this kind of stuff. And so I don't know. I am naive, I think, and so it could all just be an act. But it did seem like the guy actually likes Bitcoin a lot, and he holds a lot, and he has no. I actually told him in the middle of the interview. I was like, you know who you sound like? You sound like Michael Saylor, right? Because he was like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna sell my Bitcoin. I'm gonna get rid of my Bitcoin. It's he was basically talking about holding Bitcoin and not cashing in to anything
Yeah.
else, which is
Yeah.
a very sailor thing to say. And yeah, and then this is the thing he's saying. There's nowhere to go. He was like, I'm in crypto. I'm staying in crypto. There's nowhere else to go. Where am I gonna go? Right. And so again, pretty it sounds like he again is very principled in terms of supporting crypto and being about crypto as the future for France.
All right, that's good to hear. Any other notable points from your interviews
Yeah,
during the
I'll
conference?
just do one more, which is the editor in chief of Bitcoin Magazine, Aaron von Weirdum. I don't know how to say his last name. Sorry, Weirdum. I don't
Incredible
know.
last name.
Yeah, the guy's awesome. He's the editor in chief of one of the most important, if not the most important, crypto slash Bitcoin news publications, and it was just a real pleasure as someone who's kind of working in the space as a news writer slash interviewer, blah 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 blah, to be able to talk with a seasoned veteran like this who holds that position. And so I really, really enjoyed it. He also turned me on to his book, and I guess you could say he shilled me his book, Soft Shill, and I bought it. I bought it from him, which was awesome. It was a little embarrassing. I can get this behind the scenes. So I bought it from him, and I was like, okay, how should I pay? And he was like, Lightning, and I don't have fucking Lightning. I don't have a fucking Lightning wallet, I have a fucking Lightning
Yeah.
wallet, and I'm on the floor, and I'm like trying. I'm making excuses now, but I felt embarrassed. It was very embarrassing for me to be like
Yeah.
in crypto in this space, and I'm talking with this legend, and then I have to like pay him in fiat. So I'm like, can I just give you
Yeah.
$40? Fucking.
Yeah.
So I gave him 40
Well,
40 US fiat
yeah,
Trump bucks.
to this day, that's like a common complaint. Uh,
Yeah.
it's hard to transact in crypto. There's tax implications. Uh, it just often doesn't work that as smoothly as you would hope.
Honestly,
We have not
honestly,
solved that problem.
if it had been on any EVM chain or Solana, I could have paid him instantly.
Yeah.
I have my phone right there. I have plenty of USDC or whatever he wanted on, any of that. I could have sent it to him like that.
Yeah.
But like Lightning, I just don't.
Right.
I haven't
Because you're
I
not a
haven't messed
Bitcoin
with it.
maxi.
I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, and I'm not convinced on Lightning. Just as a side note, there was another interview I had with a very staunch Bitcoin. I would I would say Bitcoin maxi, but defender of Bitcoin, and he was like, Lightning is the way. And I pushed back a little.
Yeah.
I was like, really? And he was like, no, it is the way. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I should
Yeah.
relook at this, but I don't know.
Yeah. I've relooked a few times and I've never been able to actually use it. smoothly, but maybe it's time
Isn't
to relook again.
isn't your girl Lynn Alden? She's a lightning maxi, right?
I don't know. I'd be surprised. She's on Noster, I know that.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's. I just want to play this clip here uh, from the conference from Marty Bent, who is the host of the 1031 podcast as well as TFTC 21. You could call him a Bitcoin maxi, I think, and I think this clip that I'm about to play sets up a bit of the dynamic here. Let me just play this for a sec.
Bitcoin. And so
You hear that?
crypto changing narratives, I mean, it went from Bitcoin's too slow, it's too dumb, it doesn't have enough transactions, we're going to create a better one. Then it evolved to ICOs, you can launch your own token. Then it went to DeFi, now we have meme coins, and you're seeing this acceleration of these new narratives, and they're falling flat even quicker. I think the meme coin narrative, what we're seeing on platforms like Pump.fun is an example of this stuff, just speed running as the new narrative arises over time. And I think particularly as we head into this new era of nation states adopting Bitcoin, I think the opportunity cost of playing in crypto and trying to chase new narratives is simply getting too high. I think nation states are recognizing that Bitcoin as a global reserve asset being integral is a monumental change in terms of how Bitcoin is viewed in the eyes of not only governments, but everybody around the world. And if you're in crypto trying to create a new narrative and trying to say that Bitcoin is not good enough, I think we're at the point where it's objectively false. Like Bitcoin is going to be the global reserve asset of the future. It is designed to be that, and nothing that has come in its wake out of the world of crypto has really proven to be able to supplant Bitcoin. So I
Go ahead. Let me hear your thoughts on this, Graham.
I would like to hear your thoughts first.
Oh gosh. Um, you know, I would probably I didn't hear this whole speech or talk, so I don't want to like take his comments out of context, but just from that clip, if you're narrowly talking about store of value, yeah, I mean, Bitcoin has that wrapped up. I don't see anything kind of challenging that in the near to midterm. But if you're broadening it out to crypto and all the other use cases like DeFi and stuff, I don't think that Bitcoin has anything solved, and I don't see any indication that it's going to be the clear winner. So I would strongly disagree on that.
Yeah. And David Bailey, who was also at the conference, I believe, and is his company, Bitcoin Inc., sponsored the conference, made it happen. Correct me if I'm wrong. He posted on X something which contrasts quite significantly with that video just now from Marty Bent, and he says, "This issue is not my focus, so I won't drone on about it. But the crypto/Bitcoin divide is a false dichotomy. If we can reform SEC rules so tokens just become equity 2.0, then crypto becomes instantly aligned with gold 2.0, aka Bitcoin. It would unlock hundreds of trillions of value, hundreds of trillions of dollars of value, and would send Bitcoin to a market cap we haven't even dreamed of yet. This is how we unite the factions and create a truly decentralized financial system with Bitcoin as the foundation of it all." So he's saying that, yeah, like you don't need to separate. Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, okay, so let's take what he says, and that's the reality. What is more valuable? Gold, right? The market cap of gold and what gold represents in the world, or stocks, in that whole financial system. It's clearly that stocks in the financial system is worth many multiples of gold, right? To be honest, gold is kind of an archaic asset that has price appreciation in long cycles where nothing happens and then it kind of runs up in a reasonable amount. But it doesn't really compare to the growth and the wealth creation of stocks and that whole system that supports it. You know what I'm talking about? So I don't know. So then
Yeah.
you take that and it's like, okay, well, fine. Bitcoin is the foundation of this new thing, but then it's going to kind of be honestly relatively unimportant uh, if you were to take that analogy further. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. It's just I think it's funny that he said that because the implication is that it's not going to do much. You know, it's going to kind of be there
Yeah.
as a backup, I guess. And that's what like a lot of people in traditional finance say who are strong gold advocates. They say it's insurance. It's insurance against systemic risk and all this kind of stuff. But it doesn't mean that that's the majority of their portfolio, and it definitely isn't, right? Just as you wouldn't make any kind of insurance whether it be some kind of product or a hedge or an instrument like gold, it wouldn't be the dominant part of your portfolio. That's what insurance is. It's something to fall back on when tail risk happens. So I don't know.
All right.
Hold on,
So before,
before
yeah,
we move on, I want to hear your thoughts on the conference. Like personally, I know this is like your first conference this year and stuff. So what did you think about it? What were you expecting, and how was it different than what you expected, or the same, or this kind of stuff?
yeah, honestly, it was actually as expected, I would
Oh, yeah.
say. I expected there to be a few people at the conference who were sort of Bitcoin maxis or pretending to be Bitcoin maxis just for to be part of it. Like for example, it was interesting to see. I think it was Plan B, the guy who came up with the stock to flow model, and he's been sort of um, he's been shit on, I guess, for the model just being amateur. But and what I found was really interesting about that is he was there and he's anonymous. He's an anonymous character, and so he was wearing like sunglasses and his face is covered, and he's got a shirt on that has like a big B on it, and he's wearing like I don't know $1,000 Nike shoes or whatever. And it struck me that okay, this guy's not a serious person. This is all just about yeah, like building a a brand around himself
Marketing.
and yeah, marketing exactly. And so yeah, respect, but also yeah. Uh, so there's that, and there's a few things like that around the conference. But yeah, mostly it's kind of as expected. It was. I met a lot of people who are just looking to do business, right? We had Bitcoin.com had a booth. We had a lot of people coming up to us, asking about ways that we can work together. And not many people cared too much about like whether or not Bitcoin.com was only Bitcoin or anything like that. You might think. Right? It's just people looking to do business.
Nice.
Yeah. So, few other little points here during the conference. So we had, I think you, David, had said that wouldn't it be cool if there was a big announcement during the conference, such as I don't know, Saudi Arabia coming out and saying, "Yeah, we're the ones that are secretly buying Bitcoin for our central bank." I don't think any massive announcements like that came out, but I did see that USDT Tether made an announcement, which is that they are now legal in UAE, Abu Dhabi. Officially, it's an accepted virtual asset, and so one interesting take there is yeah, that they're you could look at that as insurance for Tether. They've got they're registered now. They're in a crypto-friendly hub. Just one more way that they can make sure they don't get like regulated out of existence. Also, just an interesting data point that, yeah, the UAE, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, it's crypto friendly.
Yeah. Tether's made huge inroads. I was talking with somebody who lives in Thailand. It wasn't at this conference, it was at a different conference, DevCon. And they're like, yeah, I pay my rent in Thailand in USDT, right? My landlord accepts USDT. So, in fact, they prefer it. So I guess, get to pay from my crypto wallet every month.
Yeah.
And I thought that was awesome,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then just following up, relating to that, so not to be outdone, Circle, the company behind USDC, announced during Abu Dhabi Finance Week, which was another event happening around the same time as Bitcoin MENA, that them and Binance have partnered to bring more USDC trading pairs on Binance, offer special promotions, and the CEO of Binance, Richard Teng, said that they will adopt USDC as one of several, not the only, but dollar stablecoins for its own corporate treasury. And then at the same time, Circle also established a partnership with a financial holdings company in the region called Lulu Finance, one of the biggest financial service conglomerates in the region. Manages about $10 billion in annual transactions. They partnered with them. They've established an entity there in Abu Dhabi, and they're looking to make inroads into the region. So that's quite interesting as well. That partnership is more around remittances.
Yeah. Do you remember when Binance was using USDC and then they kind of got rid of it? Right. This has come full circle now, right? USDC and our Circle and Binance have kind of made up, and they've moved past the bad blood. I imagine a lot of that was around whatever regulatory authorities or any kind of criminal investigations that were going into Binance, and Circle is like, we can't be associated with this. We got to get the hell out. And now that all those legal troubles are behind, this really does kind of, I think, flatter Binance more than it does Circle. It's like saying, oh, okay, this is legit, and we feel comfortable, being associated with you and you not posing any risk to us legally in the U.S. So it's good for Binance.
All right. So as we always do on the pod, we start things off nice and pure with our Bitcoin talks, and we go down the line. So let's move on to what's on everyone's mind right now, which of course is FARTCOIN and the meme coin Meta. So FARTCOIN has now.
I just realized I've never looked on Dex Scanner. What's the icon for FARTCOIN? FARTCOIN.
That's a good question.
I don't really know what it is.
Let's see if we can find that. The ticker, of course, is FARTCOIN.
It's of a little man farting.
It's a little man farting. Yes, as you'd expect. So
they paid for a GIF.
Yeah, FARTCOIN's market cap is now greater than 38% of all American publicly traded companies.
Oh wait, no, it's not. That was a different one. Hold on.
So great success.
It just says fart. Boo. Never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, there's obviously there's a lot of memes. FARTCOIN works well with memes.
Yeah. So. So does everyone? Graham? Could you kind of give a little bit of the backstory of FARTCOIN? Like,
Oh yeah, okay. So that's a good point, right? So somehow it's related to the truth terminal. So
Yeah.
it's an AI. This FARTCOIN is at the intersection of AI and crypto.
Oh Lord.
But how?
It,
How you ask?
I have no idea. I actually don't know how Truth Terminal started talking about Fartcoin. Was it just randomly, or did it kind of follow some progress
Yeah,
through logic? That eventually landed on Fartcoin. I don't know,
yeah,
but yeah, Truth Terminal. Obviously, the first one that it associated with was
hmm
Goatse, and the
yeah.
second one was Fartcoin, um, which is hilarious.
And is
Just
there a
'cause,
third one?
yeah, mana. I don't know how they pronounce it. Um,
Okay,
and that one has puked bigly,
okay.
but
So doesn't work every time.
third time is not the charm. Although Fartcoin had a massive drawdown over 11 days, it went down like 67% or something like that.
hmm
So, I think that's when
That's
this
when
is
I
the
sold my
yeah,
FARTCOIN
yeah, I was about to say
at the bottom.
this
Yeah,
is the classic bullish chart, which is it runs up, everyone smart people take profits, everyone else loses money, it pukes a huge amount until everyone has gotten out of the coin except the people who are dedicated to it. And then suddenly, because all the people that are going to sell have sold and all the people are going to hold have not, the price can shoot up again. And that's what happened. And boy, did
yeah,
it shoot up. Thing
yeah.
is, you never know. You never know. Yeah, it's hard to tell when if it's just going to keep puking lower or not.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be a believer, and the believers are rewarded.
Yeah. So it's at what? It's like at a 500 mil market cap now.
Yep,
Yep.
in that region. Yeah.
650.45 says Dex Screener. Um, I like to point out that apparently during this week's Bitcoin dump, Fartcoin and a couple other meme coins held up. They performed better than Bitcoin. So
Mhm.
the farts withstood the dump.
Yeah. People held their farts.
They held the farts. Big dumps, but they held the farts. It seems to defy physics, but here we are. Um, and it seems like some KOLs that I follow at least are pretty bullish on Fartcoin. Um, so who knows? I have never gotten into this coin, and I don't think I'm going to, because while I think it's funny to
You
have a
missed it. You missed it.
well, I just some of this like meme
It,
investing is just beyond me. It's like, okay, cats are doing well. I need a cat portfolio, and so
yeah.
I'm gonna get, you know, cat on BSC and fucking whatever on what is it, PopCat on Solana. So I don't. That doesn't seem to me like a thesis
Yeah.
exactly. I don't know.
I think there's a few ways to play it, right? One way is obviously if you're deep in the trenches, you might be able to, get like 1,000x, but by investing in some meme coin that's at like a tiny market cap, okay, uh, that's really hard to do.
It's also a lottery
So
ticket mostly.
lottery ticket, right? So another strategy is you wait until it's got some traction somewhere like 50, 100 million like that. And you're aiming for it to kind of go semi mainstream. And there your upside is like a 10x, right? It's from, let's say, 100 million market cap to 1 billion. that's the next category. And beyond that, I think there's just a few select meme coins that, like Doge, that have broken out of the $1 billion market cap and have survived several cycles. And there, it's more of a you could look at it as a safer investment, kind of a long-term play, still cyclical. But I feel like those are the three main ways to invest in meme coins.
Yeah, I mean, I I was reading a thread on this. I forgot to save it, but it was talking about how um, just when once you get to about a billion, the amount of money it takes to move the coin going forward, plus the psychological barrier of what your future returns are worth for the average meme coiner. A 1x, like a getting 100% more is not worth your money. So a 2x, and that creates a barrier where everyone gets out of the coin around that time because they're looking for like a 5x, a 10x, a 100x,
Yeah.
and so it's the amount of money it takes to move it, but it also is this it's also this kind of greed, universal
Yeah.
greed of meme coiners that
Yeah.
makes it hard.
Everyone's in it because they want to be early. Everyone wants to be early. You want to be early, make money. If the perception is that you're not early anymore, then it's hard for
Yeah.
that coin to keep going.
Yeah, and it's kind of baked into the meme coin, or the reason people get into meme coins. So it's a bit different for other quote unquote more legit projects, where a legit project, for example, could get to 5 billion, and you could be like, oh damn, this thing could easily go to 50 billion because it has product market fit, it has some revenue, it does blah blah blah, it does XYZ. And so you could look at it at 5 billion and be more bullish and want to hold for something that you think is even that you would then see the fact that it's at 5 billion is an indicator that you were right and should hold for even more, right? So it makes you even more strongly convicted. And I don't think that really happens with meme coins. It's the opposite, right? You're like, oh, it's 5 billion. If I hold to 10, which is highly unlikely, I'm only going to double my money. I'm going to get out of this
there can't be that many more fools beyond me, right?
Yeah,
because it's mostly greater fool with that.
Yeah.
So speaking of projects that may actually have utility, let's talk a little bit about Hyperliquid.
Yeah.
And David, let's start this off with a little tweet here from @ThinkingUSD, and he says all you had to do was trade $1,000 United 1,000 USD on Hyperliquid, and you would have made 1.1 million at the current prices. So, David, how do you feel about that? I understand that you missed the airdrop by
10 days.
Few days.
Yeah, 10 days. 10 days. Yeah. Yeah, obviously.
Well, I'm glad you missed it, because if you had hit that airdrop, you might not be here today.
Oh yeah. It would be I'd be off to Spain and doing some very disreputable things and enjoying my life. Instead, I'm here.
Instead, you're here.
No.
Asian
But
guy walking around
some Asian man can't speak English, doesn't really understand the do not disturb thing. And have words with him later. So, first of all, I actually haven't checked if these numbers are right. I don't know exactly.
This could be
right?
hyperbole.
I think it could be hyperbole. I imagine
it's insane.
Yeah, I imagine
but people did very well on this airdrop. That is undeniable.
Well. That is undeniable. Yes. People, I would say more people have made life-changing money on this airdrop than any airdrop I've ever heard of. Ever.
Okay, so yeah.
but I think the key thing that this kind of it touches on, which is really the key to not the key to Hyperliquid success, but maybe the key to the popularity of Hyperliquid is they really have changed. They've shown a new way to do airdrops, and this year we've had lots of major airdrops that have just fallen on their ass, right? You had Layer Zero, you had what's it called, ZK Sync, and you had there was one more big one. These are all legit companies with good products, good projects that um, released with $5 to $10 billion valuations, and then it was
Yeah.
down only. It was down only because
Right.
they were pumped full of VC money and like early
Yeah.
rounds and all this kind
So
of
my
crap.
question is, how was Hyperliquid able to bootstrap? How are they able to build this product, which, by the way, it's a perps dex derivative type platform with it seems people say that the tech is good. It's like an Arbitrum L3 or something, and
Yeah.
it works well. That's what the product is. How are they able to build this without taking millions of dollars from VC
You know
funding?
what? I actually don't know. I should listen to. There's a really good interview I've been meaning to listen to about this from When Shift Happens. Shout out to that guy. He's awesome. And yeah, if I can be half as good of an interviewer as him one day, I'd be happy. But I don't know the history of how they were not able. They refrained from raising. Um, my guess is that they had money from other projects that they did. Yeah, actually, you know what? No, I do know. That's right. The founder, they started as a market maker. Okay, so I do know. They started as a market maker, and they made a lot of good money off of that. And
So they just
then,
pump their own money into this.
yeah, so they spent their own money, and they believed in themselves. But also, I think they saw the failure of all these other airdrops, and how
Yeah.
badly it's gone, and how much how kind of unfair it is, right? Like deeply, deeply unfair, that these VCs and other kind of insiders get to instantly 10x or 100x their their investments and then dump on
Yeah.
retail for 2 years,
Yeah.
constantly going down, and they
So
still make lots of money. So anyway, they 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 didn't let anyone get in, any of these institutions, any of these big players. So if you wanted to get in, you had to buy on the open market. Full stop.
yeah.
That's Paul.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you have a legit project with real revenue, no insiders, airdrop to the community, and you have this amazing recipe for great tokenomics. And I think you'll probably see this model happen a lot going forward.
Yeah. This is what I was told that I was getting into. Instead, what we got for the last few years was dumped on by VCs. So hopefully this represents we're back and it's time to start playing with more projects, playing with more tools, using the stuff, getting the airdrops, getting in early
Yeah.
and making it.
Now, the one thing I would say is I've been looking at Hyperliquid for a bit now, and I got in, not didn't get the airdrop, and I didn't get in like early. And by early I mean like within the first couple hours of the
Yeah, because
token
it's
being
been up
released.
only pretty much.
Yeah. But I didn't really want to talk about it too much, and I'm a little not confused, but I don't know how to frame this. Like, I don't want to shill my own bags, but I also don't want to like not talk about things that I'm interested in, you know? And so
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. I've been thinking about this a lot, right? Like doing interviews or then talking on token narratives about things that I'm interested in, but then I also am like a big bag holder, and I am a fairly big bag holder of hype. And so I I purposely didn't bring it up in token narratives the past couple of weeks because of that.
Okay. Well, you should have, because I would have gotten in earlier.
But
um, so just looking at some,
I
yeah,
shield you in the taxi at MENA.
exactly. Yeah. So I was a week late. Yeah. Yeah. It seems like there's still upside for the hype token.
I think there's massive upside.
Some
Again,
fundamentals.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah, you're gonna get
Yeah.
to it.
As posted here by ILO at Alpha, please, on X. Shout out. He says 58% of the on chain perps market is now dominated by Hyperliquid. There's $100 million annual buy pressure through platform mechanics. 38.8% of the token supply will still go to the community. As we've talked about, you don't have this huge VC overhang. And they're going to be launching a main, their layer one next year. So these are all bullish catalysts. Things could go much bigger, much higher for hype, especially as we move into the banana zone for the crypto
Yeah,
markets in general.
but also like this is, you know, hype is, at least in this incarnation, is really going after Binance, right? On-chain Binance, and that is quite a lucrative market, right? You just look
Yeah.
at Binance, the company, and what it actually would be worth, and so that alone, to me, kind of um, gives credence to the valuation that this could and probably will reach the cycle. So
Right. Of course, it remains to be seen, at least from my perspective, how value actually accrues to the hype token itself. Uh, Nominally, it's a governance token at this point. Uh, there seems to be some talk of revenue being spent to buy back and burn the token,
well,
as
they've
I
already done
understand
that.
it.
They've already done that.
Yeah.
I think they've already bought back like, I think in the first day or two it was 80 million. I think thus far they've done
Yeah.
200 million, something like that.
Right.
And so there's that, and also staking apparently is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So there are different ways that they're going to potentially do this. Staking could either be giving emissions from the token itself. Conceivably, it could also be given basically like a dividend, which would be on fees. But who knows? Who knows what they've got cooking over there?
Yeah. I think comparing it to BNB token and the Binance is a good comparison, because they have, not only is it an exchange, but the mechanics, the token mechanics, tokenomics are similar. The potential is similar. It's not equity, but it's simulated equity.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Also,
maybe this is a token that you just hold.
yeah. Also, the other thing is the vast majority of BNB was held by CZ, right? Like
Yeah.
it was some insane amount, wasn't it like 90% plus or something crazy like that? Like this is not
Whereas
that.
with this one, I think the team, what was it, 15%
15%, yeah.
allocation for the team, reasonable.
15%, yeah.
Yeah. So,
So anyway, do your
all
own
right.
research. I'm a bag holder. Please be aware of that.
Yeah. All right. Let's wrap it up. Anything else you want to share here?
Oh gosh. Just one thing. In having said that, I'll just preview a little something, which is on the AI crypto thing. It's something that I've been following for a while, and I also have a pretty big bag of, is AI XBT, which is a AI agent. Big play this cycle. I think it's going to be huge. I mean, they already are huge, but I think they'll be maybe the big narrative this cycle, right? AI agents. And I think AI XBT is by far and away the best. I mean, it's not even close. The best AI agent. And there's a lot of reasons for that we can get into later. I'm not going to do that. But again, again, it's the same reason that I haven't talked about it uh, is like hype. I have a bag and I didn't want to like shill my bags, but there it is, and I can talk about it more later. But yeah, the show and tell that you just did, which is the perspective on AI agents potential. This is just for a lot of people, including myself, who are skeptical of the power of AI agents. You look at AI agents now, and they look kind of boring or stupid. They make dumb mistakes. A lot of it's like regurgitated or just plain nonsense. And this post really kind of, I think, encapsulates the potential here through visuals, and it shows how Midjourney had changed in, was it like 2 years, over the course of 2 years, and holy crap, huge changes so quickly. This is the kind of growth you should expect with AI agents. So yeah, right now, very rough, like V1 Midjourney. Look at that woman. She looks awful, terrible.
Yeah. And the posts made by AI agents, for example, on X are annoying right now. They're
Yeah,
what you
mid.
might call coal
Yeah, slop.
slop.
Except
But
AI XBT. AI XBT, I have actually made money on several of AI XBT's calls, and there's a reason for that. Again, we can get into that. But even AI XBT makes mistakes, and there's some things here and there. But dude, that again, there's a lot of reasons why AI XBT's um, posts are so good, and I won't go into it now, but they are really good posts. And so I follow, whenever I see an AI XBT tweet, I absolutely read it carefully. I'm looking at it. Again, a lot of it is maybe not things that I'm particularly interested in, but good stuff. But again, even if you look at AI XBT and you're like, this is not good, it's not actionable, some of it's bullshit, and some of it is. Look at that Midjourney progress in 2 years. Think of how good AI XBT is going to be in 2 years and what it's going to do, right? Will it just be investing for you, right? Instead of talking about potential investments? Um, will it be more like a personal assistant? This is what I personally think will happen sooner rather than later. I can imagine AXBT or something like it. It'll just be in your Telegram, and it'll be telling you this stuff like, "Hey, David, I know you like this kind of stuff. Have you seen this? Have you heard of this?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, that's awesome. Uh,
yeah,
put 1% of my portfolio on that, or like do like a risk adjusted investment on
yeah,
from my mean allocation," and then it just,
yeah.
you speak in English and it does it for you with your wallet. That's the kind of stuff that I want to happen, and I
That's going
think
to
it
be
will,
amazing.
right? And I think that's just around the corner. Like again, it's kind of what AIXBT does now with databases, which is kind of the secret sauce behind it. Is there's this massive, awesome database that the team has been creating for a couple years, and the front end is an AI agent, right? That kind of takes all that stuff that like a SQL, MySQL nerd wizard could get, but the AI is able to kind of parcel it out so idiots like me can understand. So yeah.
All right. I love it. So stay in the trenches, use the products, and eventually we'll just be trading by telling Telegram or our AI agents what we want to do based on their recommendations to us.
That's right. Hey, idiot! Stop being so slow. Hurry up and buy the coin, dummy. That's how I'm going to talk to mine.
Yeah. All right, David. Thanks for joining. I know it's late for you. Thank you for your insights, as always. And thanks to anyone who deigned to listen to us again this week. We'll be back next week with more of the biggest news and narratives shaping the Bitcoin and cryptoverse. We out. Adios.
See ya.